An uproar at the State Department. Foreign Service officers hit with an ultimatum: serve in Iraq or face the consequences. CNN's Brian Todd reports on the diplomatic rebellion.
Diplomacy goes out the window at the State Department.
Don't diss me and say it's not good enough.
Normally measured Foreign Service officers lose their cool over the department's plan to force diplomats to serve in Iraq if they can't get enough volunteers.
That's a potential death sentence, and you know it. And then another thought: who will take care of our children? Who will raise our children if we're dead or seriously wounded?
At a State Department town hall meeting, one career officer, about to retire, seemingly with nothing to lose, lays into the Foreign Service because many diplomats didn't know about the decision until they read about it in the Washington Post.
I just have absolutely no respect for the whole process because you've demonstrated a lack of respect for your own colleagues.
Thank you for that comment. It's full of inaccuracies, but that's okay.
The Foreign Service chief steps off the podium, is challenged again. It gets ugly again.
Don't you or anybody else tell me the people in HR do not care about Foreign Service officers. I find that insulting.
You may care, but you don't articulate it. You roll your eyes, but we have polled the Foreign Service. 12% of your Foreign Service believes that Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice is fighting for them. 12%.
That's their right. They're wrong.
Well, sometimes if it's 88 to 12, maybe the 88% are correct.
88% of this country believed in slavery at one time. Were they correct? So don't come here then, okay?
The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad is the definition of a hardship post. The Foreign Service Association says 3 U.S. diplomats have been killed in Iraq. The embassy's short 50-some diplomats and is having a tough time getting volunteers. The last time Foreign Service officers were forced into hardship posts was in Vietnam, where more than 30 U.S. diplomats were killed.
It was incumbent upon a Foreign Service officer to accept hardship assignments, sometimes in war zones, and that certainly has been a tradition of the service.
Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice was not at that meeting, but a State Department official says she clearly understands the tone and tenor of what happened. Rice is expected to take the extraordinary step of sending out a cable to State Department employees around the world, encouraging them to serve in Iraq. For those diplomats called up who refused to go to Iraq, State Department